Well, I'm gonna start it off. My name is Dee-1. It's one of my best friends, partner in crime, a production guru, and just a close friend. He go by the name of Zella, you hear me? And we this is the Slingshot David, the album interview that you're not gonna get anywhere else. This is bro, I just wanted to, I was like, should I fly somebody in from New York or LA? Right. Should I get like a professional journalist to talk to me about the album and about my life? Or should I just get somebody who really knows me? And we have these talks all the time anyway. So it's like, let's just have 1 hour normal talks.
Well, look, don't have them thinking I'm not a professional, you know. I am a professional, you feel me? I'm just not a journalist, you
Believe
know what
that.
I'm
Well, let's get into it, man.
Right. So I think the biggest question for me is the Slingshot. Like, describe that and, pretty much the meaning behind the project.
Bruh. It's been a long journey to get here. You heard me? Like, we sat in this same studio and recorded a song we thought was going to change our lives.
Right.
Be the
I
biggest hit ever.
About that earlier.
Yeah, that mother was kind of, I don't want to say the name of the song either because I was like, but yeah. Like, it's been a journey to get here. Dog, like, I'm to the point now where this the biggest album of my career. You heard me? All Eyes on Me. A lot of people been like, dang, D, you done got your little deal now. We want to see what's the difference in the sound. Like, Slingshot David, the album, it had to be more than just a collection of songs. You know what I do as well? I tell stories.
Right.
So Slingshot David, the album, is basically the story of how I defeated the Goliaths in my life. You heard me? So with my slingshot. Yeah, Goliaths. We all got Goliaths in our lives. All of us got Goliaths or giants that are present in our world. And the key is we got to tap into what our slingshot is. Once you figure out what your slingshot is, you can defeat any Goliaths in your life. So it's not that easy. Like, all right, what's your slingshot? What's your slingshot? The way I found out what my slingshot is in life is I had to live life.
Right.
And when I lived life and when I went through ups and downs and everything I went through that shaped me into who I am, ultimately, David found his slingshot. And now David is in these streets trying to defeat as many Goliaths as possible every day. So that is the premise of the album. And it's not, it's a story, but it's also, I wanted it to where, this is a story like none other in hip-hop.
Right.
But this is also something where you take any one of these songs and as a standalone single, it's competing with the best of what's out there.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do, dog. But, here we are. I did it.
Right. Yeah. And I've heard it.
You heard it.
So this, I guess I asked you about intent. Because nothing seems like it's like fly by night with you. You know what I'm saying? Nothing don't seem like it's like, I feel like we in a new era of music where you got 5-minute producers, you got 5-minute rappers. Like, this is so easy. Everybody sells it being so easy. Yeah. So what's what the process, like the intent is, it just seems like you're moving with a purpose.
Yeah.
And you actually have, a goal set out and you're shooting for that. So
yes. So I know my purpose on this earth, and that dictates my purpose why I'm in this rap game. My purpose on this earth is to change lives, is to influence people to grow closer into their purpose, to get a closer relationship with God, to understand ultimately who the creator is and why we were put here. That's my purpose on this earth. That being said, when I'm in this game, it's the same thing. It's just I have to disguise it through making real dope music.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing. So this album, man, like, I want to influence people's lifestyle, bro. Like, when we were little boys, the Hot Boys and No Limit were really dictating how we dressed, how we talked, you heard me? Like,
how we wore our hats.
Everything, dog. I used to want the New Era cap with the Chinese writing on it, because BG had it on in the Bling Bling video, you heard me? I didn't know what the Chinese word said, but I saw he had a Chinese symbol on his hat. So it's like, look, I got to save up my little coins and go wherever I can to find that hat. That's ultimately what I want, man. I want to influence culture. I want to influence people's lifestyles. It's not just music, because music is always the soundtrack to a certain lifestyle.
Right.
And I just felt like there was a gap, especially coming from where we from, to where there was this big gap in what we listen to and the music that's coming from here, but our lifestyles.
Right.
Everybody is not out here selling dope. Everybody not busting heads off of shoulders, you heard me? Everybody not pee-popping on the walls, you heard me? Like,
so how did you transition from that, though? How did you transition from this being what you listen to?
Yeah.
To then this is what I make. Like, this is
Yep.
You know, so this is so heavy
Man,
on us. Both of us had the long 4X t-shirts.
4X tees.
Strap your bows.
I still rock Soldier Rays proudly. You hear me?
Right.
Strap your bows.
Right. So how did you transition from that and then to like, you know what? I feel this, I hear this, but visually what I'm trying to put out, what I want people to see is different.
Because I am a cultured black man.
Right.
Meaning, growing up, my kindergarten and first grade teacher, she was from Kenya, you know? So I'm knowing about kente cloth, I'm knowing about African proverbs as a kindergartner and a first grader, you know what I'm saying? My grandfather is just my favorite human being on this whole earth. You know how much I love my grandparents, brother, especially my grandfather, just because I'm just like, man, this man has so much charisma, so much knowledge. So I've heard stories growing up about things that have just made me wise beyond my years. I went to Africa as a teenager, went to Ghana, you know. How many teenagers going to Ghana and really seeing how they rock over there? I'm going over there with, you know, white tees, jabos, and soldiers trying to holler at girls. Literally in the middle of their class, I'm trying to talk to girls. And I'm just understanding, man, they on some other stuff over here. And their appreciation for life isn't based on what type of clothes they have on or what type of ice they rocking or anything like that. So although I grew up listening to all of this stuff, man, I'm just so cultured, man. I went to college, dog. Going to college, and you know, because you'll come visit me. That's when we met, was in college, you know what I'm saying? Like, dog, that type of stuff, it really gave me a different perspective. So you merge all that together, and you get this unique blend of like, well, wait, I think he looked like one of the, but he's rapping about, but, you know, like, what do you call it, you know? And it's Dee-1.
Right. So I can remember first meeting you with me and my little sister drove into the Walgreens convenience store, whatever it
on
is.
Claiborne.
Right. And getting the CD from you. I think I had a trailer right around the corner.
Yep.
I was staying in the trailer right around the corner after Katrina.
Yep.
But I remember on that tape, it was you rapping over Nas's like. That to me set with me in a different place. You know what I'm saying? So that's what was like, damn. You need to work with son like you. This is who you need to rock with. You know what I'm saying? And so from that day forth, that's what had that. You know, I held that in my heart. So to me, when I hear a song like Hood Villains, that's that make me. You know, it makes me remember that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you describe? You know, I know you don't want to give too much, but it's
we might as well give it to him though. Like, so Nas. Growing up, Nas was my favorite rapper overall. You know, if Nas
we used to have the argument with Jay-Z, Nas,
Jay-Z fan, and I'm like, dog, Nas. I'm trying to tell you something.
Which I love Nas too, but it was still the, you know, you had the battle.
Yeah, you had the battle.
Competition.
No, and I just felt like if Nas was a hot boy, that's what I would want to be. You know what I mean? If Nas was a hot boy, like that's it. That's me all day. So as far as my music, it's always been something where, man, Nas is gonna give you a level of sophistication in the rhymes to where you like, yo, this dude is intelligent. He's on some other stuff. You know, he's not your typical dude in the hood, but he is from the trenches, you know. And literally, I had one of my little homies, he rapped down here, and I picked him up last time I was in town, and just God placed him on my heart, bro. And I tell you who he is off camera, but God placed him on my heart as just like, man, talk to dude, like, you know, kind of help guide him, you know, just in the right direction, musically, but also just as a human being. So I went picked him up from the West Bank. We riding around town, we talking. He feel very comfortable with me, so he just opening up to me about what's going on. And I took him where I'm from, you know, in the Goose. And that boy was like, man, what? Like, he was tripping, dog. He was like, dog, it's going down out here. Like, even us just going there, he could see all the activity on the block, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a slow day, you know what I mean? Like, this is how it really be back here though. And I'm like, but I want you to see this, not to give me stripes to say, yeah, Dee-1 real, but to show you this where I'm really from, dog. This the only house I ever lived in, but look at who I am and who I turned out to be. You know, so that's why you hear songs like Hood Villains. You know, you gotta know about the hood. Like, it's so many people, dog. I don't mean to get off topic, but it's so many people who you get into the rap game wanting to be something. You know, something attracted you into the game, and you want to be this. You know, I was a teacher before I really got into the rap game heavy. You know, rapping was a hobby prior to that. So I was a teacher. Me getting into the rap game, I only got into the game full time. I quit a a stable career with a stable salary where I was moving up in the ranks. I quit that because I wanted to still teach. I just wanted a bigger classroom.
Right.
So when you hear songs like Hood Villains, that's the first single off the album.
Right.
That's a song where I'm trying to get people to sit down and really debate that topic that I'm talking about in that song. Who is the primary hood villain? Who is the main culprit that's holding people back and making it so hard for people to rise and elevate above their circumstances and their turmoil when you come from the hood? Is it drug dealers? Is it Uncle Toms who make it out the hood and never get back to their people? Is it America with institutional racism? You know what I'm saying? So this is my first single, and one thing about this album that I don't know if they know, but everything has been a fight, bro. Right. Everything has been a fight in terms of the songs that I wanted to be on the album, in terms of the songs I wanted to prioritize, in terms of pushing. Everything has been a fight, and I just feel like people deserve to understand, man, it's a lot that went into these songs.
So that was my next thing. So why does D1 rap? Why does D1? Why do you go through the fight? Because you could, like you said, you could have been a teacher. You could have, you could have did that and.
So this is why I got into the rap game. In life, there's our will and there's God's will, and I went through a purification process to where I tried to cleanse myself of anything that was strictly my will, because my will is dictated by a bunch of unpure things, man. My will is dictated by, my will for my own self is dictated by, oh, I see that person shining, I want that. That might not be a righteous reason why I want that. It might be envy or jealousy, or it might just be gluttony. I might be being greedy. That's my will. And I try to purify myself and my intentions and say, at the end of the day, what is God's will for David? Right. And I looked at the talents that God has blessed me with. I can't run from what I'm naturally good at, Right. And I'm naturally good at reaching people, just being a communicator, being a translator, you know what I'm saying? I can be a diplomat, and diffuse any type of tension. I can talk to a dude from the hood in jail. I can talk to a pastor. I can talk to whoever, president of a university, whatever, a middle school student. So I'm a good translator. I have a way with words to where whether it was poetry in school or whether it's rapping, I'm able to make words rhyme very well. I looked at these things and I said, ultimately, I can tell that there's also a need for a person like me in this game, There's a need, because I was looking around. If I saw D1, then I'd be like, oh, all right, cool. Like, we don't need that, Right. But coming from...
I could just listen to him.
Yeah. Especially coming from New Orleans. Right. Coming from New Orleans, all right, who we got? Man, all my favorite rappers, man. Juvie at the top of the list. You know what I'm saying? Juvie, Wayne, Mac, BG, Slim, Fresh Baby, you know what I mean?
Right.
Turk, Mystical, Fiend, all these people, as much as, and we're blessed that we're friends with a lot of these people now. Right. We got personal relationships with them. The one thing I didn't see though was, dang, nobody who's from where I'm from, who I grew up listening to and looking up to, really had content that reflected my lifestyle though.
Right.
They tricked me into thinking like, I'm that. I'm what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is,
full of goals.
I ain't got no goals in my mouth. I had braces, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't had no gold teeth. So I wanted to get into the game ultimately to do God's will, for what I feel like He created David Augustine for. Right. And with that being said, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in the game, because I'm always trying to purify my motives and say, David, it ain't what you want. It ain't how long you want to do it. It's as long as you can tell that God still has you here. And I can tell because I have divine ordination. You know what I'm saying? I've taken divine shortcuts. Right. There's people who have had way more money than me, way better circumstances, way bigger cosigns than me, that ain't nearly as far as I am. You know what I mean? Right. Some people we know from down here who we started out doing songs together with. You know what I'm saying? I just look at it like, I've had divine shortcuts because I can tell that there's a calling on me, like I'm being guided through here. There's a lot of circumstances that I look at like, dang, so I was really driving from Baton Rouge, teaching on a Friday evening, then driving to Atlanta to Club Crucial in Bankhead, doing the open mics, trying to meet people like Jason Jeter and Disturbing the Peace executives and Young Jeezy's A&Rs and all this. And I'm in these places dolo, dog. Dolo performing one-man army and songs like this. And at no time did I ever feel threatened, did I ever feel even lonely, you know what I'm saying? Right. And it's because I know, like, man, I'm on a mission that God has me on, so it kind of it kind of keeps my fire lit. Yeah. So that's why I'm in this thing, bro. And the second I feel like God
but you still move. To me, you still move like there is discomfort. It's not as if like you just like chilling. And maybe discomfort wouldn't be the word.
Urgency.
Urgency. So right, that's the word.
Because the reality of urgency is, dog. Even just since I met you, bro, you was around to see my best friend Carl get murdered.
Right. It's crazy that we were connected in that and didn't even know that.
Didn't even know that we both know him. Yeah, so that had been my best friend since elementary school. You've been around to see that. You've been around to see me mourn when multiple of my students who I taught have got murdered. You know what I'm saying? We've both seen that you got to have a sense of urgency being from New Orleans, because any day could be your last. And that is what I try to remind myself of, is like, man, don't get comfortable, man. Like this could really be your last interview. You know what I'm saying? This could really be your last time talking to this man. This could really be your last time interacting with these fans. So that's why it's like, yeah, bro, like staying humble. I don't understand. You know, that's an uptown thing, that stunt stuff, dog. Like I don't understand that all that extreme stunting and just that whole, like, man, look, like I'm just out here, I'm bigger and better than y'all, and I'm finna flash it on y'all. That never really like clicked with me. You know, with me it's always super humble. And I just look at, ultimately, bro, like I wear this bracelet, it stands for what would Jesus do? You know what I'm saying? I started wearing this because Allen Iverson used to wear them, and that was my favorite basketball player at the time. Once I started internalizing these words and I studied the life of Jesus, I'm looking at how humble this man was. You got the ultimate reason to stun on anybody. Like, look, I'll make you disappear right now. I can really knock your head off your shoulders in real life. Like, I got the power to do that.
Or I can turn water into...
Right quick, you know what I'm saying? Or look, everybody, the whole team eating, feed 5,000. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. Like, and all the things rappers rap about that just seem like aspirational, there was a man who really could do all that stuff. But he chose not to stun on nobody. That, though.
You can't feed the whole 5,000 crew. I mean, you can feed them.
Yeah, I could feed 5,000.
Like, that could be the mission. That is the mission. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's how do you feed them though? Do you teach them how to fish, or do you buy them fish? And I'm in a position now where I could buy a lot of people fish. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's why you got to be understanding what's relevant in any circumstance. Is it what's most relevant as far as behavior right now? Is it relevant, and is it needed for me to buy this person fish or to teach this person how to fish? And I feel like my music, making music, that's like a owner's manual to how to live life. You know, so I want to teach you. I want to teach you through my music, but ultimately, people who I encounter in different scenarios, sometimes I do have to, be that person that can be a provider for people. Right.
You know, I don't think I ever asked you this. What about an artist make you fall in love with them? Like, what is it? Is it the music? Is it more than the music? Is it like, obviously it ain't the, at one point it could have been the cars, you know what I'm saying? It was like this lifestyle that made us want to, basically want to. I can remember being young. I remember my cousin introducing me to Birdman and Slim. And like,
in person?
Yes. And I can remember being like, damn, this the same dude who said he got, 12 cars or 15 cars. And I'm sitting there like, this is a real human being. You understand what I'm saying? And maybe it wasn't that level of being infatuated with them, but with other artists, it had been, like Biggie or the Jay-Z's or the Nas's. It was an infatuation at, with like, this dude is really dope. And for me, being a producer, it was more so the producers. It was a Fresh or a Timbaland that I was like connected with. You know what I'm saying? So what is it about an artist that, at least that maybe, that you will look for or in yourself?
Yep. It's two things. Passion.
Right.
When I can feel someone's passion, oh man, I fall in love with them.
Right.
So I fell in love with DMX.
Right.
At an early age.
Right.
Dog, DMX is passion, dog.
Right. All passion.
All passion, bro. So if it's not someone's passion, then it's understanding when I can tell that someone is really in a fight, like internally, when someone is battling with good and evil, and I can hear that in their music. Right. That stuff attracts me, because none of us, is one way all the time.
Right.
So I like the people that show both sides of the gun, both sides of the coin. Like I can understand and see that. I always felt that from Nas, you know.
Right.
Like you can hate me now, and you see him minked up. You heard me,
Right.
big old jewels and all this stuff. But you got him talking about when his mama died on God's Son. You know,
Right.
one more dance with
What
you,
he say?
mama. All that.
Shorty owe you for ice, but a black girl lost.
All that,
Right.
all that. So
Right.
I just feel that because I'm like that dog. Being from New Orleans, and now that I travel so much, like I travel more than I'm actually here. You know, I'm
Right.
gone more than I'm here. But man, when I land at Louis Armstrong Airport, dog, I can literally feel. I'm not making this up. I can literally feel the tension, like the thickness of tension that's in the air in the city of New Orleans, dog.
Right.
When I travel, when I just ride around the city, I can feel it, dog. It's like it's invisible forces that's really at work. It's like this is heaven and hell in one
Right.
city, dog.
Right.
You never gonna find people like New Orleanians, like in a great way, you know, like people with this amount of culture, this amount of hospitality and passion. But at the same time, dog, it gets very ill down here, very ill, B. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, yo, the fact that this is where I'm from, that's why I connect with it. That's why this whole infatuation I have with David and Goliath is
Right.
there. That'll never get old to me. Because my whole life feel like a fight. And I always been an underdog. Always, dog. I was the best. Let's just rewind. Like elementary school, you know. And it's some stuff I haven't even talked about publicly. Stuff that you know about me that I haven't even spoken on publicly yet. That made me the underdog, you know, at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm just thinking about middle school, and I'm thinking about people like me and my best friend Carl, and we were outcasts. We were definitely underdogs at the school we were at. You know,
Right.
we was two of the smartest dudes, but we were some black dudes at a school that was predominantly not black.
Right.
So it made us automatically kind of stand out, and we always had to prove. We felt like we had to prove our blackness to people, you know what I mean, to the black crowd. But we felt like, look, when we get in these books, we got to prove to y'all. Like, don't think that we're inferior or less than. Like, we can hold our own.
Chattery case.
Come on, you know, high school. I'm the underdog when it comes to. I got cut from the basketball team, you know, freshman year. Got cut. And I'm sitting here like, dog, I've been playing in the hood my whole life. And I'm nice at Digby Playground and all this stuff. I'm nice. How I get cut from the team? So I went from that to getting on the team 10th grade year and breaking all the school records.
Right.
You know, from my old lady who I would go to college with, you know,
Right.
cheating on me, messing over me. All of a sudden, I'm kind of like the laughing stock of campus. Like, oh, yeah, the football team, and with your girl, and that.
Right.
You know, all this type of stuff. From that to rapping, and even rapping, man, like, I started out with a big old clique at LSU. There were a bunch of dudes from New Orleans that all rapped. And I did, like, one mixtape where I was just trying to fit in, and I was trying to be a follower. And that's why I have patience with people that are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, and their content might not be something that I necessarily approve of or whatever. I get it, though, because I was that dude. And my rap, dog, my first mixtape, man, I was talking about...
Glam was everything.
all that, dog. Talking about, dog, all kind of crazy stuff. But the thing is, I broke apart from that and decided to be Dee-1. You know what I mean? My name was Deezy at the time. Like, that shows you I put no thought into my rap career. Like, Deezy. Like, a name that took no thought. It's like Weezy, Deezy, Jeezy. You know, like, my name David. Oh, yeah, I'm Deezy. When I decided to become Dee-1 during college, it was a step of saying, like, yo, this is going to be a lonely journey. You know, this is going to be a lonely walk. I just broke apart from a group with 15 dudes in it. And I broke apart, and now we're on this campus, and we all competing for the same opportunities. There's only one performance slot at the AKA pageant. There's only one performance slot at the LSU talent show. Who gonna win? And now instead of all us being together, but me knowing that I'm not really being myself when I'm part of this group, you know, atmosphere, me doing it on my own, I had to form my own identity. Hence, one man army. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which we created together. You know what I mean? You remember that I was making that whole song with the beat and everything. So. You know, dog, like I'm not supposed to fit in, dog. I'm just not supposed to fit in. But what I'm supposed to do is empower other people who don't feel like they fit in, you know?
Right. So how does that feel being, I guess, the odd man out? Because it's not really, I mean, but it is, you know what I'm saying? It's like, at the same time, it's like when you go to, like, the black and white affair and you got on yellow. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
you know?
This the thing. When you get to the point where you realize, yo, it shouldn't be a black and white affair in the first place, then it makes you wearing yellow seem like, man, I'm actually more fresh and more enlightened than all of y'all that's thinking that you can only wear black and white. That's how society is to me.
Right.
It's a bunch of people who thinking, yo, you're a young black man, you can only be like this or be like that, you know?
Right.
What you doing, hooping or selling dope, or you know what you doing? Like how are you living your lifestyle? You know, you a man of God. Okay, you supposed to look like this or look like that. It's like, no, I look like this, and I am a man of God. You know, I just left church right before this interview. You know what I'm saying? That being said, that's what I'm trying to get people to realize, man. Is like, you know, forget the rules if the rules was devised by fools. You know. Right. I said that in J50 and Weezy, quoting myself. You know, it's real though. Like, who made these rules that dictate how we're supposed to be, man, as a society? And there's so much negativity in this world that I'm like, yo, if smiling makes me different, I don't feel guilty about being a rapper and wanting to smile. If you know, if saving my money, you know, as a rapper. And saying I don't want no car note, so that's why I drive what I drive. Or I'm investing, I don't buy Nike shoes, I buy Nike stock. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that makes me different, ultimately, man, it's cool because I was put here to be a teacher. When you're a teacher, you got 30 students and one of you. If you get lucky at a good school, you'll have like a teacher's aide, you know. But other than that, you by yourself. So I'm used to this. I'm used to having a platform and being by myself and having people that's looking at me. And at the end of the day, am I gonna win over enough of them to where they say we rocking with dude? And yeah, we subscribing to his theories and what he's talking about. And my thing is like, these ain't my theories. I get this from God. Feel me? So why would you not want to listen?
So tell me this. You just recently had a student that got killed, right?
Yeah.
Who was a rap artist. In an industry where the majority of guys are hardcore. I mean, we grew up seeing that. Everybody was slinging pistols and selling rocks. How do you smile? How do you and is it something that is genuine? Or because to me it seems genuine. I know it's genuine. But how do you continue that? How do you know what I'm saying? I mean, we live in a world, we got Donald Trump as our president at this point. We got all type of stuff going on. How do you smile in that? You know what I'm saying?
Right around the time I met you is when I was really going through a life transformation to where I remember being in Baton Rouge, leaving the radio station, and I cried 2 tears. And I remember it was just because I'm like, yo, I have a pure heart, man. I'm in this game. I'm trying to do the right thing, trying to be a, young, positive, God-fearing individual. But why do I feel such tension, and the tension was sapping me of my joy, you know what I mean? That being said, when I cried them tears, I looked in the mirror, and I just remember seeing myself in the rearview mirror, and I was like, man, this not supposed to be the look on my face for the duration of my life, for when God has me down here. Like, come on, man. Like, you're right. I am the dude that's lighthearted, that's smiling, that's like feeling good. And I looked at what this game was doing to me, man. And I was like, yo, if I'm going to be in this game, I can't be looking like I look in this rearview mirror right now, because that's not David, That's David being seeped of his joy, So that's why I say, yo, I'm going to smile and I'm going to embrace it.
So you took the control.
Took control, man. And when you smile, it makes you more creative. It really does, bro. It really does. Like, I feel lighter, you know what I mean, when I smile. I feel like my brain is more free. When I'm mean mugging and when I'm like in character, like, yo, this is programmed behavior, Mean mugging, pointing your middle finger at dudes, being like, pointing dudes out saying they're not from our hood, like, whatever. That's programmed behavior, dog. Smiling makes me more creative. Smiling puts me in a better mood. Smiling makes me more likable. It makes me more approachable. These are things that I want. So I've been
be able to engage.
To be able to engage people, man. Like, and I just want more people to feel that same way, bro. I hate that my little student got killed, bro. Garrett Burton, aka G Money. That stuff hurt me a lot because I had just talked to him on FaceTime 2 days before he got killed, and he just like me, man. Like, every time I talk to dude, what's up, Mr. Augustine, man? We be laughing, joking. We on FaceTime talking, and he wasn't smiling the last time I talked to him. He was like, man, bro, stuff just not what it seemed like it is on Instagram. He was like, bro, I'm going through it right now. And he telling me this. So if I ever come around you and I'm not the David that that's smiling and lighthearted, you're going to be like, dang, what's wrong? And that's how I felt with him. And I told him that, and I said, well, look, come to New Orleans. come here, like, come on, you come to the crib, you come to the studio with me, whatever, but let's just talk for as long as we need to. I said, come on, you can come through tomorrow if you want to. Right. And he said, bet. So he didn't hit me the next day, and I was like, if you don't hit me then, I go to Memphis for a show this weekend, and I'll be back Monday. Let's just link on Monday. Right. And he got killed, man, before I could even get back from Memphis. And that stuff stuck with me, because part of me was like, David, you knew something wasn't right with him. Like, you knew, like, that wasn't him. He wasn't smiling. There wasn't no joking. It wasn't nothing like that. You knew that. You should have made him come down here, because I know I had enough pull with him to where if I tell him, look, dog, I need you down here in an hour, he'll get on that road ASAP. Right. But, you know, I'm busy, and I'm trying to handle business and all that stuff. And in my head, I'm like, well, I'm busy anyway, so we can just link when I get back if he don't come down. The fact that he didn't initiate calling me the next day, I didn't worry about it. I was like, cool. But it's not always cool, because sometimes people don't have till Monday. They only got till Sunday, you know. And so now I'm sitting here in my head thinking, what would have happened if we had linked on Friday, you know? Would he have been in that same space on Sunday, you know what I mean? Where he was when he got killed. And that stuff hurt, dog. That stuff hurt, dog. Like, that stuff really hurt. So just because I know he wasn't, you know, bro, he was just one of us, dog. He just was a little young dude still trying to find himself. And he was like, people are celebrating me for doing this. Right. So if they celebrating you for it, you're going to be like, man, it's hard not to keep doing this. People celebrate me for it. Bro, I'm getting paid. I got a nice house in Denham. You know, he telling me this. He's showing me he taking care of his kids and all this stuff. Like, he getting celebrated for making music that is about killing people and popping pills and slanging dope and all this stuff. He getting celebrated for it, but that's not who he really is at the core of his existence, you know? Right. So that stuff tough, dog. And that's why I don't really have I got low patience for. I don't rock with these old dudes, bro, who still rapping like they 18 and 19, but they 40. Right. You know, like, how you still rapping about killing people and selling dope and all this stuff.
Your life has never adjusted to anything new or has never grown to.
I have no patience for it, bro. And I actually think that now, like, it's like, okay, how do you reach those people? Do you reach them with love and patience and try to talk to them? Or do you just have to go at their neck and tell them, look, dog, you got to, like, grow up, dog. Like, what, we got to call you out or something? You know what I mean? Because that's not cool, dog.
So tell me this. So what advice would you have for the next generation of artists that's coming up next? And, you know, just what could you share with them? You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, it's not even a popular answer, dog, what I'm gonna say, but this is the reality. Like I said, bro, I'm in this game because I'm doing God's will, not my own will. If I didn't feel like God wanted me in the music industry, I'm at a point where I know what life is about. Life is about doing God's will before even your own will. So if God didn't want me in the music industry, I would get out. Right. So what I would tell a young artist coming up is really truly examine, you know, does God want you in this industry? And if so, then what does God want you doing in this industry? Right. Does God want you in this industry rapping about killing your fellow black men and poisoning your community? Right. I don't think God will want that. It don't matter what religion you are. Right. Your God isn't going to want that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Not even the God of drugs.
Come on, man. Right. So that being said, it's like, yo, if you're not sure of your purpose of why you're in this industry, then you should get out of it. That would be my advice. People don't want to hear that, man. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the reality of this stuff, dog. And people gonna see. My man Andre Ward, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's undefeated boxer, champion of the world. You know, undefeated. Dude is 33 years old, just out the blue retired. This past weekend, just retired. And they said next to Floyd Mayweather, he was the pound for pound best fighter in the world at this point. And now that Floyd is gone, he was the best pound for pound. Retired, 33 years old, seemingly out the blue. But he said, nah, like, I'm really good friends with him. He said he accomplished everything that he wanted to in boxing. And he knew it was time to move to the next chapter of his life. Right. He's a God-fearing man. He's a man that's in touch with, what am I doing with my limited time down here on this earth, you know? I never want to be a slave to the rap game, bro. Right. You know how many people that's out here, man? Because we be talking about this stuff. Right. They just trying to live show to show, you know what I'm saying? Right. And they just trying to do anything they can to get booked. You know, and I never want to be like that. I want to actually get in this game and use it for what I want to. Right. You know, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it so far. I've had battles and I still go through some tough battles behind the scenes, but that lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. Because if it was easy, that would mean that, I'm not doing something that's pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a lot of tension that I experience behind the scenes, dog. So that's why I keep going.
So where do you see music headed? Because I feel like you actually are pushing the music. So which direction do you feel like you're pushing it?
I think music nowadays is making everybody feel like they can be themselves and they can be celebrated for that.
Right.
Whether you gay, whether you poor, whether you rich, whether you black,
poor, we from New Orleans,
white, it don't matter what you are, but it's like whether you religious, whether you atheist, I think everybody feels like, yo, I have an example that I can point to of someone who's similar to me that is experiencing success in music. And I think that's what it's coming to. And I'm not mad at that because it's just like a big battlefield to me, man. And it's just understanding. I'm trying to get it to the point where, I have less anger towards people and I understand the spirit that's operating in that person. And I actually hate the spirit, but I don't hate the person. You know what I mean? I think a few years ago I just had all this excitement and energy, and it was like, oh, this person poisoning our community, cool, I'm finna make a diss track about him, you know what I'm saying? J50 and Weezy, look, I'm finna call y'all out, you know what I'm saying? Such and such, I'm finna call you out, like da-da-da, like it is what it is, Now at this point, I'm trying to understand, like there's a spirit that's operating in each of these people, and it's about being angry at that spirit and trying to, be skillful and just surgical about how to approach that person, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at now, man. Like I still ain't done. I still ain't got my conversation with Lil Wayne yet. That's something I know I was put in this game to ultimately get that one-on-one convo with no cameras on with a brother like Lil Wayne who influenced me growing up so much. So just to let him know like how much he's influenced me, but to also come to him as a grown man now who doesn't want a feature, doesn't want a handout, not trying to get signed to you like I was a few years ago. None of that type of stuff, but just to talk to you as a friend.
Right.
And I know I can relate to you because we got a lot in common, Right. I know everything about your life, I study you. So just to be able to do stuff like that, I feel like there's certain reasons why I was put into this game. And some of them take a lot of courage to carry out though. It's easy to say that, but then when I get that quickly opportunity, am I really trying to have, that type of conversation with somebody like a Lil Wayne? Am I really trying to, not always do what I want to do? Because, I battle with my flesh all the time.
Right.
So there's things I want to do. There's things I want to buy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because, like, I like it. But
I'm going to get you some. Don't worry about it.
You going to give me that?
I'm going to get you right. You can say, look, I ain't get it. Zella just wanted to
Zella got it for me.
You know what I mean?
That's it, dog. Like,
thing,
and that's what it is, bro. But at the same time, I'm trying to make sure that musically, though, put me in that conversation, though. When you talk about who really spitting, though, you know what I'm saying? Who really does this? Like, put me in that conversation because we come from, asking each other like, who better out of Jay-Z and Nas or who was really better? Who the best rapper ever from the South? Was it Juvenile? You think T.I. better than Juve? You think Outkast could spit?
Right.
Yeah, like we come from that era. So my thing is like, of course, I want to be in that conversation.
Right.
So that's the album. Slingshot David, the album. I'm making sure that it's like you got to put me in that conversation, man.
Right,
you got to put me in that conversation. This is a big moment for New Orleans too.
Right, definitely.
Think about all the albums that came from down here. Nothing like this came from down here, dog. Nothing like this came from down here, dog. Like
you could just put it right on the top of classics.
Believe that. Believe that.
What I'm saying,
dog. Like I get very humble and shy when it even comes to talking about me in the same category as the people we grew up listening to from down here. But at the end of the day, I want my track record to prove that it's like, dang, like D is really on par with all that stuff,
Right.
And that's the mindset that I'm in now. Is like I'm in my prime, so I gotta squeeze out as much of the creative juices as I have and put it out there into music, because the music is gonna outlive me.
Right.
The music is what people are gonna remember me by. Think about all the people who
are no longer making music, and we all just hit up music. So what are your influences? Because I know you grew up around your grandparents and your parents.
Yeah.
And they was playing jazz.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had some funk in there. I'm sure they had some soul in there.
Yeah.
So what are your influences besides? I guess, I mean, we come from a musical city, so
Right.
you literally have a trombone shorty on every corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe not with the same opportunities.
Yeah.
But the talent is here.
Yeah, the talent is here. I never got into the band though.
Right.
I never played an instrument. My uncle is a drummer.
Right.
Shout out to my uncle Augie, you know what I mean?
Right,
He's just a lifelong drummer. He just drums in the French Quarters and on Frenchman Street just because he loves it, you know what I mean?
Right.
I never got in the band. I never learned how to play an instrument formally or play a horn or whatever. I was always in the sports.
Right.
So my influences were all hip hop, man.
Right.
All hip hop. No Limit and Cash Money Records. Boy, we were some lucky dudes, bro. That like
it just all hit at one time.
When we were
Boom.
little boys, and it's like the dudes that's taking over the rap game are from our backyard. You know what I mean?
Like 96 to 99.
Like crazy. And then, so of course, No Limit and Cash Money. Out of everybody in No Limit, I felt Mac the most.
Right.
You know, and that's why the fact that I have a relationship with Mac now, like what I do, is still kind of like crazy to me. It's like, man,
like Shell Shock was off the chain.
Yeah, and just his whole swag too. It's like Mac was actually fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Some of the people on No Limit, they wasn't necessarily fresh all the time.
Right.
Like you couldn't look at him and be like, dang, that dude looks like he's cool.
Right.
You know, Mac was young, fresh. You know, had his bandanas, like just looked like cool people. When it came to Cash Money, like I said, Juvenile, man. Juvenile, like Juve and Wayne. You know, Wayne was the youngest.
Right, and I think we all connected with Wayne because we was young.
Yeah, so
we was young.
We younger than Wayne, right?
Right.
So we looking at Wayne as like, well, he the closest to us. Yeah.
Right.
And outside of them, I was really influenced by Nas and DMX. Nas and DMX just stood out to me, man. DMX because of the passion, you know,
the passion, the energy,
bruh.
And Nas.
And Nas,
nobody's spitting like Nas.
Nobody's spitting like Nas.
Right.
Nas the only rapper to this day who, when I listen to stuff that he says, I'm just like, yo, even on my best day, my brain is not even capable of thinking of what he just thought of and putting words together the way he just did, even on my best day. Anybody else, I sit back and I'm like, yo, I could have came up with that, honestly.
Right.
Nas and some of Lil Wayne's punchlines.
Right.
Some of Wayne's punchlines, I'll be like, yo, you know, I don't smoke, so I'm like, in a sober mind.
Does it take
because I'm like, no, the way you said, like some of them punchlines, I couldn't have done it. But that's the only 2 times in life that I've ever been like, whoa, I'm having like an out of body experience. Like what I just heard is something that I know David Augustine Jr. ain't even capable of, you know. So I listen to them, bro, and
Well, thank God for Cash Money, No Limit, man. 'Cause I feel like that is definitely like an era to cherish,
bruh.
Like that was a special time in the city,
bruh.
I can remember. I don't even like the Prowler, but I can remember thinking the Prowler and the PT Cruiser was like $1 million vehicles.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I just
purple ones at that,
right?
Purple.
You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, man.
And then to know these dudes now, to know Fresh, like we know Fresh, dog.
Right.
To sleep at Fresh's crib, to ride
Ladies
in
and
the car.
gentlemen,
Come on, man.
Right.
Dog, like, yeah, people not. So, but think about that. We are that to other people now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the part that's kind of cool. Is like you kind of feel like a superhero as an artist. You know.
Right. So how do you feel when? Because I've experienced it with you so many times. When somebody comes up and shows that, you know, they just show that gratification, like that Dee-1, you have touched me. Like, how does that feel to have, you know, maybe awaken something in somebody, or to, you know what I'm saying, just to influence, to be the influencer.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, at one point you was just taking in all of these influences.
Yeah. I just feel like this is what I was put here to do, man.
Right.
You know, God didn't put us here to be mediocre.
Right.
So if you're doing something in life and you're mediocre at it, you're not doing what God called you to do.
Right.
God wouldn't have you be mediocre with the one life that he gives you on earth. You're going to excel. You're going to stand out. You're going to have that type of impact on people. You know, we've been together at Whole Foods. I remember the little dude and his mama came up and it was all hype, or just wherever we at, man. Like, that's how I know, like, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing
that's dope.
At this point in life. And that's what but I want everybody else to experience that. And I don't want people to say, well, I need to be a rapper then like Dee-1 in order to do that. It's like, no. That's my slingshot. Hip hop is my slingshot.
You could be a star mechanic.
You gotta find your slingshot.
Right.
That's what life is about, is finding your slingshot.
Right.
And that's what I made this album about. Man, if I never put another album out after this, what was the most important message that I could say on these 13 songs to ultimately leave people with? You know, I wanted to make an album like The Alchemist, like the book The Alchemist.
Right.
Literally, to where it has tools in there that are going to be universally applicable to someone's life. Figuring out what your slingshot is, like in The Alchemist, your personal legend, you know what I mean? Figuring out what your slingshot is, man, that is the key to life.
Right.
No offense to DJ Khaled, but when you talk about, you know, major keys and all this type of stuff, it's like, what are the major keys though? You know, and what are you supposed to use those major keys for? You know, and I try to take it a step further than that and say, well, I'm going to tell you what your slingshot is and how you're supposed to use your slingshot. I could be using hip hop to do a lot of other stuff than what I'm doing with it.
Most
but
definitely.
I'm using hip hop because you're supposed to use your slingshot to defeat Goliaths. You know what I mean? Goliaths, racism, bow. That's what I'm doing. I'm encouraging diversity and inclusion and just love in my music. You know what I mean? I'm hatred. You know, I'm encouraging just all of this, like this unity that everyone feels, to where it's like black, white, whatever. Come together, man. When you hear my music, as long as you're throwing them threes up, we fam. You know, be real, be righteous, be relevant. That's what it is, dog. So that's the purpose of figuring out what your slingshot is defeat Goliath with it. If it's poverty, I'm teaching you about being financially literate.
Right.
That's one of my big platforms right now, dog. Man, I've been saying, look, I finished paying Sally Mae back, you know, before 444 came out. And no offense to Jay-Z. And I'm glad that Jay-Z has taken that turn.
Right.
So glad. You know, I wanted that 6 years ago when I made J50 and Weezy song.
Right.
Like,
that's
man, y'all.
real. You never know what touched.
You never know, dog.
Yeah.
I wanted that. I don't want these brothers to fall off the face of the earth. I want Wayne. I want 50. I want Jay-Z. I want all of them to stay successful, to stay influential. Just use that influence in a way that's actually beneficial for more people than what is poison. You either speaking life or death, and they speaking death.
Right.
They are. You know, that doesn't mean they don't have redeemable qualities as human beings, but they speak in death. That's it. BTY Youngin got killed. It hurt my heart to see how influential he was and how many people loved him. You know what I'm saying? Really loved dude. And their way of paying respects to him was to recite all his lyrics. And all of his lyrics is about the same thing that just happened to him.
Right. I never met him, but I enjoyed his energy.
Yeah,
you know
the energy. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of energy.
He figured out what his slingshot was.
Right.
But he wasn't using it to defeat Goliaths. You know what I'm saying? Imagine figuring out what your slingshot is, and now you use it to hit people in your own army. You know, and you throwing rocks at your own army with the slingshot. It's about figuring out what the slingshot is and knowing where to focus those pebbles that you aiming at your target. What's your target? Goliath. You don't throw your pebbles at your own army.
Right.
And we all gotta understand, we gotta love one another though. If I don't look at you as a fellow black man and say, this is my brother, you know, this is my brethren, you know. If I don't look at you like that, then guess what? I'm gonna be battling you, jealous of you. Man, there's so much jealousy in this game, dog. And you could talk about Christians that you would think we are one family. You could talk about New Orleanians that you would think we are one family. You could talk about black people. You could talk about Americans. Whatever boat you want to put all of us in, there's some title that we can all say we're all that. You know, we're all that. But there's so many people that get jealous of other people that we're supposed to be on the same team as, man. And that stuff is very unattractive to me. That's the reason why I'm very picky in terms of rappers who I'm actually really cool with. You know, there's some rappers who they just trying to be like me at the end of the day. You know, it's almost like I want to bring you close. I want to study you so I can just be like you. That's why people don't rock with you, because you're not being yourself. You know what I'm saying? And some people spend a lot of time and a lot of money on trying to be something because they feel like for their career, that's a better brand for them to have. You know what I mean? And you know me, dog. Like anybody who knows me knows, man, Dee-1, man, that's David. Through and through. Period. And that's what that is, dog. And it's never been no other way. Since we were sitting up in here making Priceless and One Man Army and they say just go to school and get your degree. All that, dog. Everything we've ever done. And that's what I've always appreciated about you is like, man, like we special, dog. Like we can exist in any environments, dog. Some people like trying to say like, yo, I could really go to the hood and I get love there and it's like they're telling themselves that as if they're like accomplishing something. It's like, what you in the hood for if you not trying to help the people in the hood?
Right. It's so crazy. My hood is totally different now.
For real.
I only get 50-cent requests when I go to the hood now. But I mean, it's fully gentrified. It's just a new place.
Not mine, dog.
You know?
They ain't hit the east yet.
Right.
That gentrification ain't hit the east.
Uptown is a different uptown from my upbringing. Like,
for real.
Totally different uptown. But
dang, dog. Tell me this. What you've been you've been present throughout the album making process. You've been in the studio with me for some of the sessions. A real dope song that we did together, that you was on the hook for.
Right.
Got cut from the album.
Right, that was real dope too.
Made me very mad that's not on there. But
they're gonna still hear it though.
Oh, they're gonna definitely hear it, and they're gonna hear a lot more from us regardless. Right. It's just that what's your opinion on, like, you feel like I brought my A game on this album?
Definitely.
Word.
Definitely. Just from the first song, I feel like you're gonna get a whiff of what's about to come. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Hood Villains. Man, I mean, I told you the first time I heard it. That's my record. I think that's it. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one. Mm-hmm. You know, that to me, that's the D1. Yeah. That is where my like you would say, you fall in love with an artist. That's when my infatuated came from. The Nas's likes. That's when it was like, this is real for me. This is something that I have to keep my ears open to.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And to create that vibe, to have that is, I mean, there's nothing better than that. You know what I'm saying? To be able to have that. Mm-hmm. Now, you know, I guess it's not really important, the changes of the music, but I mean, it just is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that it's good. You know.
Oh, you talking about the changes that got made to the album? Right. Yeah. Right.
I'm just happy that it's good.
And even that, dog, like, I had to fight to, like, the original album that I turned in. It was a fight to be able to keep as much of it as I kept. Right. Originally, the whole album was gonna have to change, and I think I kept my original intention for the album. Couple songs had to get changed. It's all good. You know how I knew Hood Villains was gonna be a hit? Right. Lupe Fiasco. Right. When I let him hear the album, cause he a hard critic, you know what I mean? And I was riding around with him, and he heard the whole album, and he's not a yes man by any means. And Hood Villains, he just couldn't stop, like, ranting and raving about Hood Villains.
That's my record.
So I was like, word. So Lupe picked my first single, dog. When I heard him say it, I was just like, yeah, I gotta roll with this. So, you know, bro, I don't know, you know, I don't know anything else other than just to hustle and grind and scrap. So now that the album is coming out, it's even more work to be done. Right. You know, it's even more work to be done. There's more people to hear it. And that sense of urgency that you always say that you feel from me, the second I don't have that sense of urgency, that's when you know, oh yeah, D is kind of, you know, running out of steam, running out of gas. Because I just feel like...
Time to change focus.
Yeah, time to change focus, you know what I mean? So, and we've seen it happen to people who we both are cool with. And over time, you know, there's just the grind, the wear and the tear get to them, you know? Right. But nah, bro, I'm excited, dog. Like, I really prayed for times like this. We done slept head to toe in bed, you know what I'm saying? Like,
coming up with hooks. I don't like that. Come up with a new one.
Literally, dog. Literally, we done took trips, you know, all on random vans with random DJs trying to get plugged.
Trying to elevate.
Dog. So, you know, and we here, bro. And hopefully this only the beginning, dog. Right. Hopefully. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. It's been an enjoyable experience, man. Knowing you and watching you grow.
And I must say this, too. I've seen that you don't get a second shot at certain things. Like, I won't get a second shot at my first debut album. You know,
it's only one debut.
It's only one debut. Right. So that being said, everything about the process, from the music to where I recorded at to who I'm doing interviews with, all this stuff, I wanted to take this and personalize this just to where it feels organic, man, and it feels fresh. Right. You dig? So that's why all this stuff is so important to me, because I'm just like, there's so many people that this is a job for them, you know, and there's no passion. Once again, I connect with passion so much that I seek it out in people. And if I can't sense any passion in someone, then I would rather not have to even associate with them, you know, because that's a full-time job for me to try to implant some passion into you, you know.
Care about this.
Yeah, like care. Come on, man. What? But we've always had that passion, dog. You know, it's crazy. Like the one time we've had one argument, one fallout.
I mentioned that I mentioned that on the. I didn't say what it was about. But I just was like, I can remember the last time we was in this studio together.
It was in this studio.
Right.
Dog, it was really in this studio, dog.
We ain't talked for about 3 weeks or something like that.
The one time we got into it in our lives, I guess it was it beef?
It wasn't no beef.
It wasn't beef. It was just, we got into it. We stopped talking. It was tension, you know. And it was because of something we was both passionate about.
Right.
We was passionate. We was recording the song, and you was just like, D, I think the hook should be bigger. Like, you talking about 100 for the kicks, 300 for the fifth. You like, no, like, we trying to go national with this.
I guess that, I am from Uptown.
Yeah, like, and it was just, but you was passionate, and I was passionate, and we was going back and forth.
You like, nah, this real to me, man. I'm like, nah, bro, we gotta come home on that.
So if I'm gonna get into an argument or almost fall out with somebody over something that we're both passionate about, that's okay. I know that person and me, we gonna be here to stay.
Well, I think we was at Xavier University.
Xavier.
That's when we talked again.
At Xavier, because I seen you from across. I had my girl with me, and I was like, ding. If I go over there and try to talk to Zella right now, and if he try to play me or fight me, or I don't know what's gonna happen, my girl right here looking, it's gonna look very bad. Because Zella got his brothers with him and all this. I'm dolo. I'm like, all right, let me see. And I'm asking her, and she was cool as a fan. She was like, you know, that's your boy. You need to go speak to her. Went over there and spoke. Yeah. And
I remember Sadi told me, that boy said, man, y'all stupid. That boy said, man, you need to talk to him. Why y'all being so stupid?
For real.
But yeah, that was wild.
No, that's hilarious.
That was wild.
Passion, dog. And passion is what has you being successful as a businessman at this point. That's what has me being successful at, you know, as a musician and a public speaker and just everything I'm doing with my life. It's the passion, dog.
Right.
You know. And that's what I want people to do. I want people to be passionate about something in life, and I want them to know their purpose for why they want to do it. If you're passionate about it and you know your purpose for why you're doing it, then ultimately that's going to produce success.
Right.
That's success that nobody could get mad at, you know what I mean? Not just worldly success, but even the type of success that, you know, God is looking at, like, yep, there you go. Like, that's why I got you down there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, bro. Hopefully, some of our contemporaries and even people we look up to, you know, see this type of energy and vibe from us, and they see the waves that we making, and hopefully it wakes some of them up, man.
Right.
Cause you got a lot of, like my boy Nas said, you got a lot of black zombies out here, dog.
Right.
You know, and zombification doesn't have an age limit to it. You know, unfortunately, you got people that's older and older, and they just zombified, bro. Old and lost, dog. And you can't have this type of talk with them, something like this or whatever. So hopefully they just see it and they understand that it's just like with a child. You messed up, bro. Don't do that no more. And you know when you gotta hit them with that belt. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just like, yo, nobody is above the belt. It don't matter how old you are. Sometimes we gotta be very direct with you and let you know. So metaphorically, you know, that belt might have to come out because you are one of the hood villains. Right. Congratulations, you know what I mean? Right. You're a 40-year-old hood villain, you know? Straight up. That's crazy.
I'm sad that they took that singing, that little solo that you let me do.
Yeah.
They took that off of there.
Dang.
I don't appreciate that, you know what I'm saying?
Man, talk to him,
because I poured my heart out on them songs, you know what I'm saying? It was like, there was this one note that I hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, ooh. No, it was a similar note to that. But I'm sitting there like, at the end of the day, you didn't hear the passion? Like, I really worked on that all week. I think it was, because I remember you came, it's your song, so I can't never really say you was like playing background.
Right.
But I remember I hit, and you came with the undertone. You was like, I'm about to put, you know, I'm about to, and it was like a little harmony that we had put together. But I hadn't even really heard you sing at that point.
Harmonies.
I didn't know you was taking lessons.
Harmony.